that the career of Sean P. Diddy Combs, as we know it, it's over. This is over in the worst possible way, one of the worst possible ways you can imagine.
Will soon come out. And you see what came out? My man, he punching that little girl in the head. Yo, you don't even kick a dog, man.
Hey, you told us. You told us.
He put the boots to that girl.
Diddy is done for. Like, it's completely and utterly over for him, and whatever's left of his empire. For years, there have been all sorts of speculations and rumors about his behavior. People have talked and whispered, with some even insisting that he should be considered innocent until proven guilty. But all of that is out the window now because there's actual visible evidence that shows just how awful Diddy really is. And people are saying there's no way Diddy can avoid prison time. This video is like the nail in the coffin, providing clear and undeniable proof of his actions. Also, if Diddy does get locked up, his life is going to be a living hell because on top of the horrendous acts he's accused of involving women, he's also tangled up with some pretty dangerous groups in the past, like the Bloods&Crips.
Do you feel like Puffy owe you?
Yeah, he should. I think he should look out.
And best believe that members of both gangs who are already in jail are just waiting for a chance to settle old scores with him. If you know why they are so eager to confront him, stick around cause we're getting into that as well. Now back to the evidence. I have to say though that this video is very disturbing. So the final blow comes from a 2016 surveillance video that CNN has exclusively obtained. The video shows Diddy grabbing, shoving, dragging, and kicking his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura. In the video, Ventura exits a hotel room and walks to a bank of elevators. Combs, holding a towel around his waist, runs down a hall after Ventura. He grabs her by the back of the neck and throws her to the floor. Still holding his towel closed with one hand, he then turns to kick her, the video shows.
Raise some of the allegations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The video, captured on multiple cameras, shows Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
As Ventura is on the ground, Combs retrieves a purse and suitcase from the floor near the elevators. He turns around and kicks Ventura again as she lies motionless on the floor. About 4 seconds transpire between the two kicks, according to the video. He then briefly drags Ventura by her sweatshirt toward a room before walking away. Ventura is then seen slowly standing up. She gathers items from the floor and moves to pick up a phone on the hallway wall near the elevators. Combs, still in a towel and socks, returns. A mirror directly across from the security camera shows Combs appearing to shove Ventura. Seconds later, he sits down on a chair, grabs an object off a table, and forcefully throws it toward Ventura.
Is seen picking up a hotel phone. Combs seems to walk back to the hotel room, then returns and appears to shove her in a corner. Moments later, he can be seen throwing an object in her direction.
Combs is seen walking away, then turns toward Ventura once again when an elevator door opens and someone appears to exit. Now this altercation matches allegations in the now settled federal lawsuit filed by Ventura in November. According to Ventura's complaint, which cited the altercation as occurring around March 2016, Combs became extremely intoxicated and punched Miss Ventura in the face, giving her a black eye. After Combs fell asleep, Ventura attempted to leave the hotel room, but he woke up and followed her into the hallway of the hotel while yelling at her, the complaint said. He grabbed at her and then took glass vases in the hallway and threw them at her, causing glass to crash around them as she ran to the elevator to escape, the complaint alleged. After Ventura got in the elevator, her complaint states that she took a cab to her apartment. Upon realizing that her running away would leave Mr. Combs to be even angrier with her and completely stuck in his vicious style of Miss Ventura returned to the hotel with the intention of apologizing for running away from her abuser, the complaint claims. When she returned, hotel security staff urged her to get back into a cab and go to her apartment, suggesting that they had seen the security footage showing Mr. Combs beating Miss Ventura and throwing glass at her in the hotel hallway. The complaint alleges Combs paid the Intercontinental Century City $50,000 for the hallway security footage, and as we all know, this is one of a number of allegations made in the November lawsuit in which Ventura claimed she was R-worded in 2018 and subjected to years of repeated physical and other by Combs. Now, Ventura has refused to comment on the video, but her attorney Douglas H. Wigdor did say something. He said, quote, "The gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs. Words cannot express the courage and fortitude that Miss Ventura has shown in coming forward to bring this to light." And as you can guess, the internet went absolutely wild the moment the video dropped. One person said, quote, "I stood with Cassie before seeing her proof, but I absolutely am baffled in what I just watched. Diddy punching her in the head, throwing her to the floor, kicking her, dragging her. This is why you should believe victims when they speak. Everyone ain't lying." This person also chimed in saying, quote, "Y'all saying Cassie stayed with Diddy after all this. This man is a billionaire who also had somebody K-worded and who had another popular rapper car blew up. He would have K-worded her, probably K-worded Kim Porter." Even some celebrities jumped in on the action, starting with 50 Cent, who's been on Diddy's case from the very beginning. He uploaded the video and captioned it saying, "Now I'm sure Puffy didn't do it. He is innocent. This proves nothing." This is what his lawyers are gonna say. God help us all. DL Hewley also reacted to the video saying, quote, "It's over as it should be. Don't attack me with that bringing a black man down-ish either. If that's your stance on this, we're not the same." Now, it's pretty much a done deal that Diddy will end up in prison sooner than we think. And like we mentioned earlier, when he does, his life is going to be a living hell. Every member of the Bloods and Crips that Diddy has had beef with in the past will be gunning for him. According to the rumors, they say Diddy betrayed the Southside Crips who were protecting him and even allegedly helped Tupac, who was one of the most beloved blood gangster rappers of all time. As we know, Dwayne Keith, also known as Keefy D, a member of the Southside Crips, was arrested and charged in connection with Shakur's murder. And apparently Diddy was the one who asked him to do it. Let's dive in a bit. So at the beginning of the 90s, a client of Keefy D called Eric Von Zip Martin introduced him to Diddy at a party. They shook hands and that was it. As Keefy recalls, Puffy had a little swag, but for him, Puffy was like a young kid. As Keefy said, Puffy was broke back then because he was just starting out in his career promoting talented artists.
Through Zip Martin.
Okay.
Zip Martin already had a business relationship with the Southside Crips.
So Puffy elected to, let's align ourselves with these street guys, with Zip. And then through Zip came Keefy.
The first time Keefy D and Puffy started talking was when Puffy wanted to rent a car for Usher's music video for Can You Get With It. Keefy asked for $2,400 for the rental, however Usher ruined the car because he was dancing on top of it. Puffy had to pay $4,400 instead. Back then, the Southside Compton Car Club was a well-off Crip set, with a well-off set with about 35 cars and a lot more. In the summer of '95, Zip came to the neighborhood and invited Keefy D to a party called the Beat Summer Jam, organized by Puffy. Suge Knight was at the party as well. As Keefy D himself said, Suge was jealous of Puffy because everything was going well for him. In the summer of '95, Biggie's One More Chance was played out of every stereo. Suge asked Keefy where he knew Diddy from, and Keefy said just like everybody else, he knew him from drug dealing. Then two events took place, which led to the crumbling of the relationship between Suge and Puffy. This is the first event.
About the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing, coming Death Row.
The second is with Big Jake, Suge Knight's friend who was in an altercation between Death Row and Bad Boy Records at a club in Atlanta. Suge blamed Puffy for and Keefy said a member of Bad Boy Records called him and said, "Your boy, Big CEO, is tripping." Obviously, this was a reference to Suge. Keefy responded to him saying, quote, "Just send me 40 to 59 tickets and we'll be in there, deep at all your concerts." Puffy would give them tickets to be at their Bad Boy West Coast shows. They went everywhere with them. They'd meet up with them at the hotel, get the tickets, and go with them. Crips were backstage deep at most of the West Coast shows because Zip and Puffy were always in contact with him. Keefy always knew where Puffy was, where to go if something were to happen.
And it was Puff. And he like, "You think it's cool to come out here and do concerts?" I'm like, "Why it wouldn't be cool?" So he like, "The big CEO dude." So
Suge.
Yeah.
According to Keefy's word, Puff was so scared that he hired ex-Navy SEALs wearing earpieces like they work for the CIA in the hotel room next to his suite. According to Keefy D's story, Zip and Puffy met at a club and called him over. Then the following conversation took place. "What's up?" Keefy asked. "I need a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO and Pac," responded Puff. Keefy enthusiastically said, "That's not a problem, we can make that happen." Again, according to Keefy's word, Puffy ordered $1 million to K-word Tupac and Suge Knight. Now, what did Keefy think about Suge? For him, he was soft. He didn't care one bit about Suge Knight and his crew. That time, Keefy had some argument with Suge and Death Row in general. For starters, one of the girls from Death Row complained to the label's boss that she and her friend were beaten by Keefe D and his crew. Keefe told her, quote, "Well, B, I'm not from Death Row." The entire conflict took place because the time of filming a music video for Death Row, Keefe, who was present there, happened to be accidentally touching the girl's behind while she was going down the stairs. The girl then said, "It's an a-hole from Death Row." And then when Keefe's people and those from Death Row were going to be at the same club, Suge's car was shot at and he thought Keefe D was involved in that. However, according to the gangster's words, that was not the case. Also, he had issues with Tupac because of these lines. Some Southsiders were up on the blues on Sunset and they ran into Tupac. One of the gang members went up and grabbed Tupac by the collar and pushed him against the wall and said, "Man, you know what that Long Beach and Rosecrans stand for?" Keefe says Pac thought that the guys from Death Row would protect him, but no one came to the rescue. Next, a fight took place that changed hip-hop forever. One of Keefe D's friends went to a mall where he came across their rival gang. They started beating him up, and then help arrived just in time. And they beat them up in return, took a chain with the Death Row logo on. Orlando Anderson was present in that fight. According to the words of Napoleon from Outlaws, he claimed that a rumor circulated at that time that Puffy was willing to pay $10,000 to anyone who would steal a Death Row chain.
Put the chain in in our video, and that's why the guys try to snatch the chain.
On the 7th of September 1996, another fight took place between Tupac and Orlando Anderson. Pac wanted to get him revenge for his friend. After Orlando was beaten up, Keefe D wanted to get back at Pac and Suge Knight for this. For him, it was humiliating because for him, Suge Knight and the entire music industry in general were surrounded by fake gangsters and he couldn't forgive the attack on his nephew. Plus, Puff already offered $1 million for the K-wording of these two. So a few hours later, Pac was K-worded. Also, before his arrest, Keefe D mentioned that meeting Diddy was the worst moment of his life. He explained that Diddy pitted him against Suge Knight, which led to the downfall of both him and Suge, while Diddy continued to thrive with his empire. Quote, "If I wouldn't have ever met him, I wouldn't have ever been involved in this BS, he stated. I would have never met the brother. I never would have been involved in this BS. Me and Suge, we played on the same Pop Warner team and everything. My homeboys helped put Suge in the game. It really crashed two people's empire in one night. Mine for sure, Suge's too. Diddy, the only one still balling. He made our ish go down, man. He won't even look out or nothing, because he pitted us against each other, which was kinda smart, where Crips and Suge was Bloods. So you can see why both the Crips and Bloods have it out for Diddy. If he ever lands in prison, it's going to be a nightmare for him. But it doesn't stop there. The Crips and Bloods might not be Diddy's only problem behind bars. Among the other disgusting accusations against him, Diddy has also been accused of involvement with underage stuff, as well, teenagers, G-wording, and so on. And according to sources, are not treated in the best way in jail. They are at the bottom of the prison hierarchy and often face brutal treatment. Apparently, and robbers are usually towards the top, while R and chomos are at the bottom. Many inmates have wives and children on the outside, so even though they are convicted criminals, they have a level of honor regarding their victims. Women are considered weaker, and attacks on women are looked down on. Considered even worse are chomos or child murder. They are considered the lowest of the low, possibly only slightly above a snitch. Snitches are the worst of the worst and are often targeted for attack for breaking the code. Chomos are looked at as sick freaks and regarded as untouchable, so a chomo's time in prison is tough. The inmates hate them, the guards hate them, and the guards will often set them up for a beating saying they deserve it. Inmates will often charge them rent to stay in the cell block, and if they don't pay, they are put on the door to go to PC. There is even a news story of a child who was held down while the victim's name was tattooed on his forehead by other inmates. Well, this whole Diddy drama is like a roller coaster of craziness, but I want to know what you guys think of all these comments, and we'll catch you in the next video.